Hi, my name is Anonymous, and I'm going to give you a little bit of feedback on our story. Please feel free to leave a comment down in the comment area and hit subscribe if you're interested in hearing more. My spouse and I, my husband, we met when we were 18. We're now 51. It has been hell, to be frank. You would disagree. I don't know why or how. So here's the beginning, and then later down the line I'll tell you the middle, and later down the line a little farther I'll share the end, which we're not there yet. We met when he was 17, I was 18. And I know one of our first arguments was I was mocking him. I was immature, of course. I didn't know. I thought I was being cute and adorable. He thought I was being a total bitch. And we were driving back to his house. He didn't have a car. I had a car, and he rode his bike back and forth from work. He had a job. I didn't have a job. I just graduated high school. He dropped out of high school before graduating. This was his first apartment. I used to live at home with my mom. So he would say something like, "Oh, watch out for the car in front of you." And I'd just say, "Oh, watch out for the car in front of you." And then he'd say something, and of course I'd say the same thing. It lasted for about 4 minutes. We got back to his place, and he slammed my car door so hard I thought the window was going to shatter. And he stormed upstairs to his apartment, and all of a sudden he turned on the music, and I could hear blaring out all the windows. "Who's going to take you home tonight by the cards?" So I went up there, and I apologized right away, and I said, screaming mad because he won't turn the music down. And I told him I thought I was being funny. I thought I was trying to be cute, and I totally did not see that I upset him until just now, and I'm sorry. And he wouldn't look at me. He kept his head down. He was laying on the floor, and he was just like, "Get out, get out." Like there was just nothing I could say to make it better. I was embarrassed, and I think I just left because I didn't know what else to do, really. I was a little confused because I didn't think it was that big a deal, but apparently it was, and that was my bad. But again, just keep in mind, we were 18. We were very mentally immature. So that was about 2 weeks after we met. Then sometime before I moved in with him, he wanted to do a trip up to Canada because the legal drinking age up there was 18. He was 17, I was 18. We went with 4 people. His friend number 1, my friend number 1, and somebody he worked with, who was another male, tagged along. He paid for the hotel room, and he drove a car, and my friend number 1 drove a car, who was a female. On the way there, we get into an accident where she accidentally didn't see the red light and rear-ended him. We get up there to go to bars, and they won't let him into any bars because he's underage. This was all his idea, because he wanted to go up there and drink. But they will let him in the liquor store to buy booze. You can be 17, I guess, apparently, in Victoria to buy booze. So we tried multiple bars. We couldn't get in. We didn't go in either. We went back to the hotel room, and then he wanted to have some alone time with me. And so he kept hinting to everybody, "Oh, why don't you guys go for a walk?" It was pouring down rain, too, I remember. It was windy. It's like this big storm that came in. He was like, "Why don't you guys go for a walk or go check out the city, blah, blah, blah." And nobody really wanted to go. And then finally, I think his friend got the hint and was like, "Eee." But he walked out, at least down to the lobby or something. And then finally, he just bluntly came out and asked my friend number 1 to leave. He just said, "Would you leave, please?" And she was having really bad period cramps. Again, really stormy outside. And she said, "No, I'm not going to leave. What are you talking about? Like, I don't feel well." And he then yelled, "Get out." And it hurt her feelings. And I felt like I had to stand up for her. So I just said, "What are you doing? Like, it's not that big a deal. I mean, why are you fighting, like, being, like, so rude?" And he got pissed that I stuck up for her. Him and his friend, number 1, went for a walk, and were gone all night long. Okay, all night. And so I was up and down out of the bed, at the window, looking around, waiting for them to get back. And they didn't get back until dawn. And I was pissed. I was hurt. I was mad. It was like, what the hell, dude? Like, it wasn't that big a deal, and you're just gonna leave me here in Canada overnight? It's our only night here, and you're just gonna leave like that? Like you're feeling like to me, it's just like, to me, it's selfish. Maybe I'm wrong, but I thought it was very selfish. So the argument kept going on between me and him because I stood up for my friend. We all went back on the ferry, and it was pretty much a disaster. The whole thing was. Shortly after that, my mom and me had a big blow-up fight. I called him up. I said, please come pick me up. I piled everything I possibly could in his car. Or, yeah, at the time he actually had bought a car from, right after that, he bought a car from my friend number one. So he drove over and he picked me up. Because I don't think my car was running at the time. I don't really remember. And I brought what I could over to his house. And he said, what's going on? I said, I'm going to stay with you for a little bit because I don't have anywhere else to go. My mom was in the middle of like this huge midlife crisis where all of a sudden she thought she was 18 or something. She was running around half naked, and that she was dating a 23-year-old. It was just a disaster. Okay, I couldn't be there. And he didn't really want me to move in with him, but he didn't have any choice, is how he felt, he said. So he let me move in there, and I do remember that within the first week I got sent to the grocery store. And I was supposed to buy like 4 or 5 things. He gave me $20, and I ended up also buying hairspray and cinnamon rolls that you bake in the oven. And boy, that was a gigantic fight. I should have never bought anything besides what was on the list. But it didn't just end there. Like, it lasted all night long. And it was like this fight where he's like yelling, like screaming at me that I should not have bought these things and how disrespectful it was and blah, blah, blah. We don't have much money and you're on a budget. It was weird, you know, it hurt my feelings, but whatever. I thought it was something I did wrong, and it probably was to an extent, but not to that kind of a like deal. The way he handled it was totally like rude and mean. And we got through it, and so basically his car stopped running at some point. He had a good friend named Annie, who was a female, who used to always tell me, I don't want you to meet her because you'll get jealous of her because she's so pretty. And he had also told me they had slept together when they were like 16. And one time we get in this blow-up fight, and he throws all my, we get in a fight about something, and he storms out with my car, and he leaves for 2 days or 3 days, doesn't come back, leaves me at his apartment, and he goes off to Annie's. And I'm hot. Like, I am lividly pissed. I mean, I can hardly sleep. My stomach's upside down. I'm feeling like totally disrespected. I'm feeling totally left. I don't have my car. Like, he's just gonna piss on me, basically. So on the second or third night, I find her address where she lives, and I go and I knock on her parents' door. And it wasn't late. It was like 6 something at night. I didn't have a car, so I had to take the bus over there. Wasn't my husband, you know, he says it was like at 1 o'clock in the morning or something, which is ridiculous because I had to take the bus there. And then that I acted like a crazy person. But anyways, it was dark, but it was like 7 o'clock. It was cold. It was in the middle of winter or whatever. I knocked on the door. The parents answered, and I just asked. I said, "Hi, is Josh here or Annie possibly?" I was just looking for them because Josh has my car, and I sort of needed it back. And they said no. They had just left like 45 minutes ago. So I just said, "Thank you. Would you please let them know I stopped by?" And I got back on the bus, and I went back to his apartment. And I think it was the very next day he comes, and he's like, I can't believe you showed up at her parents' house. You look like a crazy person, and how embarrassing. She doesn't want anything to do with you anymore, like she already did or something. She doesn't want to meet you. She doesn't want anything else. It just embarrassed the hell out of me. And it was like, I could not get him to understand, dude, you took off in my car. Like, what would it feel like if you had a car and I had a really good friend that was a male, and I took off for days in your car to go spend it with a different guy? Like, how can you not see how wrong that is? Well, Andy's just my friend, blah, blah, blah. Anyways, he throws all my shit out of his apartment window. He's on the 2nd floor. And I go out, and he throws me out, basically, and I go out to the stairwell. There's a door that leads to the outside, and then the top of his apartment was upstairs. I just sit there and I cry because I don't feel like I have any place to go. All my shit's out there in the parking lot. It's like, how am I not being heard here that, like, this is an issue, like, something's wrong, like, can't you listen to me? Nope, it was all about him, and about what I did, which I didn't actually do. And another thing early in our relationship that I probably should have handled a little bit differently was that I would be in the bedroom. So when it comes to our sexual activity levels, he was way experienced and I was not. Like, he had probably slept with like 70 women or girls, and I had slept with like 4 people. And I always thought like sex was in the bedroom at that age. I mean, hello, I'm 18. And so it would get late, and I'd get tired and I'd go put on, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Then I'd come to the bedroom and he's like, oh no, I'm watching David Letterman or something. And what he would do is he would stay up until I fell asleep, get out his Playboy or Play or whatever they are, magazines, wipe off on his sock, hide it under the couch, and then go to bed every night. And I started getting pissed because I'd find the socks when I'd clean the apartment, and it hurt my feelings because I did not know. I felt like I wasn't adequate enough, or that like he just wasn't attracted to me because of, you have an 18-year-old girlfriend in your bedroom who's wanting to mess around. And then he just basically came out and said, like, you shouldn't have to have sex in the bedroom all the time, blah, 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 it's boring. Okay, well then teach me something. Like, it's like my activity level is not as experienced as yours. Of course, I didn't say any of that because I don't even know how to express myself at that age, at that time, really. And it felt like and that everything he said, made sense. But even though it just was like, whoa, that's painful. I mean, he's been the only person that's been able to make my heart fall into my ass. I'm not kidding you. And so I'd give him, and so finally I got to the point where it's like he was buying all these magazines, and I was like, dude, what the fuck, dude? Like, am I not enough? And he goes, it's all like that. It's just that it's easier if I do it myself. Oh my God, like, whatever. So that was an issue right away. So we started, we had issues right away like that. That went on, I don't know, for like a year and a half. And finally he got into doing some other things with a downstairs neighbor who was older. And eventually his lease got terminated and he went fishing, and I moved in with the girl that I worked with named friend number 2, I'll just say. He was gone for 3 months. He came back. He spent 2 days before seeing me with my stepdad, who at the time I didn't get along with at all, and my mom, okay? 2 days prior before I even know he's here. And then he shows up at my work. And I was really excited to see him. I had tanned the whole time he was gone just to get looking good, whatever. And he asked me if I want a cup of coffee, and I said yes. Till this day, he will not admit this, but he has one time which he does not remember. But I drank the coffee, and all of a sudden I was really shaky, and I felt like, whoa, what did I just drink? Like something's in that. And there was. He blames it on my stepdad, and it was not my stepdad, okay? Because my husband was all about sex, drugs, rock and roll, party, let's have sex for 15 hours, 25 hours, let's never stop. I don't want to finish, just blah, blah, blah. And it was 3 days of hell. He said that I just was able to stay awake off of the cup of coffee. He would not admit it. And here we are today. And what I mean by that is he still won't admit things. He still won't admit that. And I know for a fact he did it because he told me he did it. He just doesn't remember when he told me that he did it. But he did. And I know he did. An old man, my stepdad, he was an old guy. He's not going to do that. Like, he's a, like, I hate to say normal user, but he's not like, party animal, yeah. He's like trying to survive, basically. He's not putting his shit in somebody's drink that he's not getting anything out of. Trust me, okay? Oh my God. So anyways, I'm going to leave you with that. And you're probably going to ask yourself, well, why did you marry him? And that's going to be in the part 2. So if you're interested in learning a little bit more about our lives and the chaos out there, and maybe giving a little bit of advice, or trying just to basically leave some of the nasty comments out of the story, because it does hurt. Because I'm a female, I feel like it hurt easy. Try to be a little soft if you're going to call me a fucking stupid, crazy person. But for now, that's it. And hit subscribe, join my channel. Hopefully we get some viewers out there and we can help one another make some better choices.